you didn't really know much about running a store, did you?
Nothing. Nobody in our family on either side has ever been in business.
Well, my father died, my mom's husband died young, and so he died in 1986. And a few years later, my mom ended up purchasing what was then called the granary, and it was really a failing farm store, and they sold everything from, you know, Pop-Tarts and cigarettes to locally grown oysters, dog food, pig food, fertilizer, really a miscellany of everything.
And the store had basically not made any money. And I knew that was the one thing I knew. One cannot sell a store if it's, number one, doesn't make any money. Number two, if a person has only tried 1 year. So I thought, okay, I guess I now have a pet food store. And it wasn't just pets, it was cows, it was horses, it was pigs, it was llamas. Everybody had llamas.
And I became a chicken expert by reading a book or two so I could help people with their chickens. Eventually we got a couple good brands of food and began helping dogs with allergies. That pretty much gave us our start. Was people came in, they had dogs that were having problems with their skin, and we'd switch their food, and it was working. So
we started focusing on healthy food for dogs and cats, and I think that's probably in many ways that's maybe the first 5 or 8 years of the business, is that evolution from doing a lot of things badly to doing a couple things reasonably well.
Lars and Marisa just come to you out of the blue. Is that how you got to know them and work out this loan? Or tell me the story about the SBA loan.
Actually, the first time he came in and requested, I think, all of $25,000, we turned him down. He hasn't let me forget that fact. But the big loan came about after Lars had been in place for a while and decided that what they really wanted to do is take this to a much larger scale, and they bought out, I believe it was 7 or 8 stores of a business that was in receivership.
We took over the 8 Bosley stores, and of course we wanted those 8 stores to be just like our Olympia store. And the reality was, we woke up on August 19th of 2000, the stores opened, but of course they weren't like the Olympia store.
Was success instantaneous for them, or?
No, absolutely not. Buying a store out of receivership is kind of this declining, moving target as employees get nervous, and the best of employees find new opportunities. Customers see the diminished inventory and kind of smell failure and move on. And so by the time all the legal issues resolved, they were able to take over ownership. It dropped to a lower level than they expected. And then systems that they thought would work inside the store, accounting systems, point of sale systems, did not work as well as advertised. So it was indeed, to some degree, I'm sure, rather nightmarish.
It was quite a transition, a very long transition to move our inventory into the natural, high-quality products, to retrain our staff, to think about dog and cat nutrition and not about lizard food and guinea pig food, because that's really what the customers were asking for. But we needed to refocus our customer expectations, refocus the conversations, and bring them back more to what our vision of the company was, natural dog and cat food.
The worst thing that could possibly happen to independent retail is the big box. You know, it's like when Walmart comes to a small town. And in our world, it was PetSmart. PetSmart's the national chain. It had recently gone public. It had marched through the South like Sherman did and wiped out all the retail stores, and it was on its way to Seattle. The first one opened, you know, just a mile over here in Federal Way, and I met Lars and Marisa and Elsa for lunch, and we went and toured the store. And it was extremely intimidating because you would watch this impact that this company had had. You know, they were taking the name brand franchises that had been built, and they were selling them for less than we could buy them for. So it was a very, very scary thing for us as a distributor because our whole customer base was going to get challenged. And it was very scary if you're a retailer because you're dealing with, you know, I think they're up to 30 stores in this market or 600,000 square feet. It's going to grab market share. And that very year we lost 85 retailers, or about 15% of our customer base. And those were the ones that decided to it's bad. You know, PetSmart's here, the economy's bad, they're looking for reasons why it's bad, they watch the news, they believe it, and they found a way to rationalize it and quit. And then you've got the bar has been raised, and you've got the Lars and Maurices of the world who identify that. They see the competition, they see what they've got to do, they see they've got to diversify, they see they've got to go in and not regress, but they've got to go on the, you know, the best offense or defense is an offense, and they go on the attack. And they doubled down at that point and went into it. And they upgraded their systems, they upgraded their ability, they upgraded their marketing, they upgraded their people, they instilled the training, they started the I mean, they went at it with a passion, and it translated into success. And that bar, once it was raised, they set the example, and people followed in this market. And due to their leadership at the retail level, you know, a lot of, you know, the best compliment is somebody copying you. The independent retail base, you know, in the Pacific Northwest is the best in the United States. And a lot of it is due to the leadership and the example that they have set.
So this is our warehouse in Olympia, Washington. It's our 30,000 square foot warehouse that allows us to efficiently supply 17 stores throughout the greater Puget Sound area. Now, the neat thing about MudBay is that every customer who comes to us can be reassured that we've conducted what we call our guaranteed analysis on the ingredient panels of every product that we sell, so that they can feel confident that when we recommend a product, that it will be the healthiest product that they can choose for their dog or cat. I couldn't be more excited to be part of this company. When I look at the landscape of great American brands, companies like Starbucks or Nike or Disney or Apple, I think there's a common characteristic. These are companies that have been able to establish an emotional connection with their customers that's built on trust, a sense of shared understanding of what those products and companies stand for, and a certain level of credibility around that company's commitment to helping make that customer's life easier. I see the exact same commitment in MudBay.
And if I could give you a perspective on a national scale, I mean, that it truly is. I mean, MudBay is a national player. You know, if you're going to do an award ceremony, not just for Thurston County, but for the United States, MudBay has had a national impact. You know, I sit on the board of the Pet Distributors Association, and MudBay, from the East Coast to the Midwest to the West Coast, the highest level in the boardrooms we deal with to stores, there's recognition when you talk to people in this industry that when you say MudBay, it connects. You know, people understand it, they identify with it, and they respect what they've done. So it's truly unique on a national scale what they've done, and that is truly a credit to, you know, Lars and Marisa. That unique combination of brains, passion, you know, intelligence, and the most important thing is that common sense and work ethic. You know, because there's a lot of smart people in the world, but there's very few leaders of that caliber. So
The fun thing is, of course, that both the two of the children are involved and really have become CEOs. That is the most important thing, so that this wacky little store, where it was leaking and which nobody knew, the customers didn't know, that has grown into something like this and has become our livelihood. That I would have never thought.